If you want to get the edge, you want to be someone that's making $50,000, $100,000 a month, 500K per month. My own personal goal is to get to 8 figures. That's $1 million a month in 2026. That means I got to change who I am. I got to change what I do. I got to change why I do it. I got to change my identity. So many people I speak to, they're still stuck in the old identity. So how do you upgrade your identity? I'm going to give you just a handful of things that have worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you or not. I hope it works for you. I hope you take it to the bank and you finally achieve your goals. But the first and most important thing is your environment. Who are you surrounding yourself with? If you don't have a mentor, if you're not investing in yourself, if you're not around people that are making moves. One of my best friends, I've been very blessed, very grateful. Some people struggle to have like 1 or 2 friends. I have 5 close friends. That's enough for me. I don't need any more friends, but I have 5 deeply close friends. These guys are like my brothers. And one of them is very close to me. His business is doing around $3 million a month, okay, which is about $100,000 a day in the info space. So they sell, digital products like you and I, but his business does 100 grand a day on average, which is about $3 million a month, which is about $36 million per year. Okay. Because he's in my environment, because I speak to him almost every single day or every other day, we're in a WhatsApp group with a few of them. I get to always raise my standards, my financial thermostat. Okay. And this is something I learned over 15 years ago, which is, if you don't make 10 grand a month right now, and you meet someone that's making 10 grand a month, that's a lot for you. If you make $10,000 to $30,000 a month, and then you meet someone who's making 300 grand a month, that raises your bar. What happens if you meet someone and they're making $3 million a month? Now your brain, it's forced to stretch only if you let it, okay? Only if you let it. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is you have to be the person that says, oh my gosh, I had no idea that's possible. I will remove my skepticism, my past beliefs, my past ideas, and I will be open to learning what's possible, what's out there. Okay? If you can develop this mentality of, I see someone else doing it, they're no different than me. If they're no different than me, they've just taken different decisions. They have a different friend circle. They do different things differently. How can I be like that? I promise you, you're going to make way more money. You're probably going to be way more happier. Okay. And I do this in all areas of my life. When I find, like right now, I find myself slacking in my health. So guess what I'm doing? I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I put on like maybe 15, 20 pounds, a little bit too much. What do I need to do to get rid of this 15, 20 pounds of weight? I don't like carrying this extra weight. Okay, what's my environment? Okay, I've been around, I was traveling, I'm still traveling right now here in beautiful Morocco, as you can see. Who am I surrounding myself with? Okay, people that aren't focused on their health. I usually have like 2 different personal trainers. I'm not around them. I haven't been going to the gym consistently because I've been traveling from America to wherever else I was. Okay, cool. What do I have to do? I need to recommit to my goals. Okay, the bigger the commitment, the more courage that you're going to have. The more courage that you're going to have, the more confidence it will breed. And it's just like a big circle, okay? Like I look at it as a 4-cylinder circle, 4-cylinder cube, okay? The bigger the goals, you make more commitment. You're going to take more action, which is going to lead you to have more confidence. That higher levels of confidence is going to lead you to having more confidence. Those confidence, the more that you have confidence, the more you're going to try things. It ain't going to work. You're going to try different things. That's all going to lead into you developing new capabilities, new skill sets. Most of the time when I'm speaking to someone and they're stuck at making a certain level of income, they're stuck at the old way of living their life. They've been stuck for the last 3, 5, 10 years of living their life in a certain way. I can almost point it down to one of these 4 things. The level of commitment, the level of courage, the level of confidence, and the level of new capabilities, aka skills. So if you can figure out and ask yourself, hey, I kind of feel stuck in this area of my life, maybe in my business, maybe in my personal life. What are one of the 4 areas I need to tap into? Commitment, capabilities, confidence, courage. Okay, the 4 C's. By the way, I paid Dan Sullivan, a gentleman, $35,000 over 10 years ago to spend a day with him. And this is the framework that I learned from him. And even now in my life, I use that. So back to, how do you go from where you are, get unstuck and achieve your dreams and goals in 2026? Figure this out. Figure out where do you fall into this 4 quadrant, okay? And this will determine where you will be, where you will have your environment in terms of who are you surrounding yourself with, what are the daily thoughts, actions, beliefs that you're carrying around with, and what are the habits and routines that you have in place. And identify the current things that you're doing right now. So for example, if you wake up and the first thing you do is check social media, you scroll on short form content, you consume other people's information, you read emails, you have usually an unhealthy breakfast. By the way, these are all 4 or 5 things I just listed out. These are things that I've been doing for the last 30 days. So I'm calling myself out here right now, publicly on my YouTube channel, because I know, you know what? Like, if I stop these 5 things, I'd probably make an extra, $100,000, $200,000 a month. Because that means I do different activities. I'd focus on high value activities, making new offers, coming up with new sales funnels, new marketing campaigns, hiring more people. Oh my gosh, I'm spending probably 2 hours a day on doing reactive stuff, firefighting, instead of doing high leverage stuff. Okay, so that means, if I make these changes, I should be able to make way more money. Let's, for example, an extra 100 grand a month. That's an extra $1.2 million a year. Okay, if I really optimize it, that's 2.4, maybe even $3 million a year I can do if I change the habits that I currently have. So ask yourself, in your own business, in your own life, what are the negative habits that you have, that you do, that if you switch them, you're going to have a bigger, better quantum leap. Maybe you need to hire a mentor. I just hired a mentor who basically builds Silicon Valley type companies. Now, I have procrastinated on this for at least 4 years, because I thought, I'm not really ready to hire someone of that nature. He specializes in basically helping companies get to $100 million to $1 billion to $10 billion. So this is like a high-end, high-level mentor. But I have procrastinated, made excuses for over 5 years as to why not to hire this guy. Okay, and then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I had hired him 5 years ago, today I'd probably have a company worth $100 million or even more, because I would have integrated AI. By the way, in that time, I've seen people like Alex Becker, Sam Evans and Alex Hormozi from school, Stephen Bartlett. They've all built $100 million, $500 million empires in the last 5 years, because they focused on, say, software. They focused on enterprise level clients. And I'm like, okay, I made the wrong decision by not hiring the right mentors. What if I start hiring the right mentor? And so I just did. Last week I bought something pretty expensive, pretty cheap when you really think about the value that I'm going to get. But ask yourself, who are the mentors that you need to hire, you need to have in your corner, so that you can avoid the costly mistakes. You can fast track your goals and your results. And just think about it. And then after you think about it, write it down. Maybe you want to get someone for your health, your business, marketing, sales. Maybe you want to get someone for personal development. Maybe you want to get someone for, relationships. Whatever area that you feel like you could get help with, identify that. Because the cost of not doing that, oh my gosh, far exceeds and outweighs anything else. Like even on my team, I'm looking at my team members and I'm like, okay, I want every single one of them to be AI proficient. I need because I'm getting all my clients to do this. I need my team to really dive in and spend 20, 50, 100 hours to go and learn and then master different aspects of AI. So for example, in one of my businesses where we do lots of videos and then video editing for clients, maybe I'll spend 6 grand to 10 grand a month just on this one aspect. Okay, what if I used AI? I could save myself some money. I could have my team be more proficient. They could easily do 10, 20 times, even 50 times the output if they leverage AI. So this is something that's always on my mind, which is, how do I optimize what I have? So if you have, I see people that will join my coaching programs and sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, I've joined this other program, but I haven't got the results. Have you done the work to get the results? And then have you actually gone through the systems to find out which system you need to implement into your business? And by that I mean, okay, so I had a gentleman recently join, and he's like, oh, I paid this guy Russell Brunson $10,000 for, or $20,000 for, well, like one of Russell's coaching programs, where he's got like thousands of members in there. And although it's a great course, it's not really something that I fully believe in, so I'm not going to promote it, but whatever. I still love Russell and his stuff. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I could tell the gentleman that bought the program did not even bother to go through maybe 3 to 5 of the modules. Why? Because he started coming to me, he started blaming Russell, and then he started asking me all these questions, which someone, when you ask me these questions, and I'm experienced because I've been doing digital marketing for over 15 years, I can tell, hey, you're just being a silly person because you haven't even bothered to go through, learn and educate yourself, right? And so this comes down to this one concept of what's the knowledge gap? What's the knowledge gap, okay, that where you're at right now, and what knowledge do you need to get to here? And in every area of your life, let's just talk about business for now. In business, if you're at making $10,000 a month and you're not making 50K, 100K, 500K a month, $1 million a month, it's really because of the knowledge gap. You don't know what to do. So knowledge is essentially, the more knowledge you have, the more skills you have. So it's either a skills issue. Okay, once you've identified the knowledge gap, it's a skills issue. You don't have the right skills, or you don't have the right systems. So for example, you can know how to do webinars. That's the skill set, right? How to present. But then you also need to have the right systems, which is, in my case, for my paying clients, I give them my SOPs and my licensing systems so that they can install the webinar funnel, right? So that comes with maybe say 37 different steps, and it comes in a 15-page detailed SOP where someone can literally just install this system into the business. So that's the system. So you have skills and systems, and if you can look at everything that you're trying to achieve in your life through, is it a skill issue or is it a system issue, I can almost guarantee you will make more money in 2026 than anything else you've ever tried. So just ask yourself, maybe you have expertise in your brain, you have a course idea, you have coaching program, you can help someone achieve a specific result. Well, guess what? Now so you have the skill set, right? Now you need to have a system that attracts your ideal prospects, that qualifies them, that repels the wrong people, that educates, pre-motivates the right prospects so that they can be easily sold into your products and services. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you go into 2026 with this mindset of what are the skills and what are the systems I need to implement in every single thing. Like, for example, I want to lose weight. I want to lose this 15-20 pounds that I'm carrying around. I started off the year really good, going to the gym. I lost a lot of good weight, and then like towards the last 1 or 2 months, I've just been, I'm not going to blame traveling and stuff. I'm just going to I take full responsibility. That's another thing as well. The fastest way to transform your life, your business, your career, your income, your wealth is just say, I take full responsibility. Okay, you hired a mentor, the mentor didn't show up to a call. Okay, just take full responsibility. You bought a course and the course had some typos or whatever. Just take full responsibility. Stop whining, moaning and complaining. The people that succeed the most, like this year I've seen many of my students go from 0 to 6 figures, 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond. One of them I got to meet in person in London. He's done over 8 figures. He's had his best year, $15 million in a single year selling courses. When he came to me, he was stuck at making I think 80K to 100 grand a month. He was an Australian guy, so he married a girl from the UK. So now he comes to UK quite a bit, and this is the first time meeting him after maybe 5 or 6 years knowing him. But he went from making 80K to 100K a month to doing $15 million in a single year. So when he flew from Australia, he came down to London to come and see me. We spent an evening together. This guy had so many things go wrong in his business and his relationship, but I did not even sense one tiny bit of entitlement. I did not sense one tiny bit of him blaming someone else. It was just like, this happened, I'll take full responsibility, I make this change. Or this happened, I took full responsibility. I made this change. And so what's the difference between a client of mine that makes $15 million in a year versus someone else that's trying to break through 10, 20, 30K a month? Identity, environment, taking accountability, taking responsibility, and then the skills and the systems. I'm going to do more videos like this if you guys enjoy it. But I got inspired to make this video because this past week I saw a handful of people. I saw a couple of my clients really just like going out, making things happen. And then I saw a few on a Zoom call that I do once a week. They're really stuck. And they think they're stuck because of like a webinar or a system. But they're really stuck because of their environment and their identity that they've got. So anyway, if you guys want me to make more videos like this, just comment the word video and I will do more videos like this. All right, peace out.